Hey, what is up, everybody? In today's video, I got here an Amazon package. I'm sure you already know what it is, but in any case, I might as well open it right here. Of course, they got to make it so hard to open. Of course, if I can just... a little difficult to do these sorts of videos when you only have one hand, but well, there we go. There we go. So, here we have a copy of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is a franchise I've been meaning to get into, but could never quite get into. I actually have a copy here of Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the the new Nintendo 3DS, which I got quite a number of years ago. I tried playing this a couple times, couldn't get into it. And since the release of this version of the game, they did come out with a remaster for Switch, which with some new added content. So now I'm a bit conflicted on whether I should continue on the 3DS version or just buy the remaster. Um, but of course, I already have the game right here. It's just a matter of, do I prefer the remastered visuals or the original? And I just so happen to actually like the original visuals a bit more. And of course, I also don't like the idea of having... I could just play this right now and play the Switch version later, but I don't want to go through like 100-hour journey twice. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure these games are great. It's just that the idea of me spending 100+ hours on a replay, that 100 hours could be used for playing another RPG. And I do have Metaphor Refantasio in mind at some point. I want to finish, and I'm still need to finish episode Igus in Persona 3 Reload. But I'm getting a bit off topic here. But yeah, so Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out about 2 years ago, like 2.5 years ago now. I remember the second game came out back in like the end of 2017. And then before that, we had Xenoblade Chronicles X, or Cross, or however you pronounce it, in late 2015. That was a very ambitious game for the Wii U. It takes like 300 hours to complete that game because of just how much content there is. And speaking of Xenoblade Chronicles X, that game is also getting remastered, and that remaster is coming out in a couple months from now. 2 months actually from now. So basically, we'll have the entire Xenoblade Chronicles saga on one system, which is great. So you got Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you have the Torna expansion, and 3 and X, which is nice. Now, to my understanding, if you look at the box art, you'll notice that they do share a lot of similarities, and apparently that's because the game 1, 2, and 3 take place in the same universe, whereas X takes place in an alternate continuity. Or I know for a fact that they go to a different planet, but I'm not sure to what extent. Sorry for the abrupt jump cut. I just had to change locations. But yeah. So this is the third entry. Came out a couple years ago. It takes place in the same universe as the first and second game, technically. But from my understanding, you don't actually need to play the games in chronological order. They're self-contained stories with some references in between. Kind of like how Persona 3, 4, and 5 take place in the same universe, but or actually no, the entire Persona games, all 5 Persona games take place in the same universe, but have nothing to do with each other, aside from a couple references here or there. But yeah, this game came out a couple years ago now. I got it on sale on Amazon for about 54 something, less than $55. And for those of you who live in Canada right now, you may be aware that there is a GST holiday going on, so you don't pay any tax. So it's $55 roughly. No tax, so I save about $5+ in addition to the discount. This game usually goes for about 80 Canadian dollars, but it was on sale on Amazon for around 55, and plus I don't pay tax, so um, it's a good time to probably get it, especially since these games, the Xenoblade games, tend to hold their value over time. If not increase. I actually had a copy of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I really regret trading or selling, as the price for that game has skyrocketed quite a bit. I bought it for like I think $50 from somebody, and then I sold it to somebody else. Really, really regret that. So just be forewarned, if you're gonna sell a game, guys, just do so knowing that um, it may become harder to find one day, especially if it's a Nintendo game, or it could just be cheaper. I mean, like Super Mario 3D World on Wii U is pretty easy to get nowadays because you got the Switch version. But yeah, let's if we look at the back here, we can see live to fight, fight to live, two countries locked in eternal battle, but whom does their fighting serve? Solve the riddle and save the future. Explore/fight, travel the world of I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's pronounced Aeneas. I don't know how to pronounce it. As you fight to liberate colonies and reclaim your lives. Interlink. Fuse characters to transform into powerful Ouroboros. Adapt. Combine different character classes to change up your strategy. And of course, you have some writing here in French because, of course, we live in Canada. It's a single player game through and through. Switch Pro, controller compatible, and has some amiibo support. Speaking of amiibo support, the 3DS version of the first game has amiibo support, but then the Switch version got rid of it for some reason. It doesn't actually add anything. It's just like a trophy gallery that you can unlock just by scanning the Shulk amiibo. But yeah, that's basically it. I don't know about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 amiibo functionality. And speaking of which, speaking of added content, so Xenoblade Chronicles 3, as well as the second game, has DLC. So yeah, that's a thing. I don't know to what extent what specifically the DLC entails, but yeah, keep that in mind if you do plan on buying this game. I know there have been some reprints of certain Nintendo games like Mario Kart 8 or Zelda Breath of the Wild where they actually, in Japan anyways, where they actually include the DLC. So they would reprint the game and then have the DLC and the base game and the DLC on the cartridge, which is nice. But sadly, as far as I can tell, that doesn't seem to be happening outside of Japan, which is a bit unfortunate because it would be nice to have everything on one cartridge. Since Nintendo has shown that they're pretty willing to just shut down the servers for their eShops, for their digital storefronts, and therefore make it pretty much impossible to get the DLC for a lot of games. So yeah, unless they do re-release this game with all the DLC, or even do a remaster, updated re-release on Switch 2, yeah, you absolutely have to download the DLC. Gosh, they always make it so hard to... They always make it so hard. Okay, there we go. Oh, finally. Okay. I really don't want to ruin this box art. It looks really nice. Okay, let's go. Finally. Oh yeah, the game is rated T for teen, which I guess, which is interesting. I guess. I mean, you'd think that with all the violence, it would just go for the M rating, but oh well, whatever. I'm fine with it. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, Xenoblade Chronicles X on Wii U actually got censored for its Western release. So you can actually change your breast size, I believe, in the Japanese release of that game. But then in the Western release, they removed that ability, and they also changed some of the characters' ages, I believe, or I can't, and costumes to be less revealing. I'm curious as to whether the remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles X will retain that. I'm sure it will. Um Tokyo Mirage Session actually was based on the Western release of the game because it included both English and Japanese, so that they could include both English and Japanese audio. Sorry, not audio, text. So, yeah, I suspect when Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out in March, they're going to just do the same thing and just base it on the Western release. Okay, so we have here the cover art, which with the characters sitting, two main leads sitting by the fireplace. Oh, sorry if it's hard to see. You have some other characters. Yeah, you have a couple other characters here. And of course, you have the actual cartridge itself. So, let's actually pop this into my Switch, which I have right here, and see what happens. And here we are, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So yeah, at least the game boots up. That's good. The game has been updated. Press the minus button to access the information. Okay, let's see what the patch... Okay, yeah. So, updated the game, added support for the expansion pack, fixed minor issues to improve gameplay. First volume, the DLC is now available for download. Accessories and expandable items, new clothing. Updated to 1.1.1, adjusted movement pattern. Unique monster, and what else is there? Fix several minor issues. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's see here. Options. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can change between English and Japanese, I presume. All right. Yeah, that's basically Xenoblade Chronicles 3, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, so the patch size is about 572 megabits. Okay, that's actually pretty small. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. If you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe as always, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.